My name is Brianna.
And I'm Monique.
And we are
Pretty Proverbs.
Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Come on, y'all say it with me. Come on. Whoa, whoa,
Hi, I'm Brianna.
And I'm Monique. And today we're coming with the topic of being single versus being lonely.
So, I want to stress that being single does not automatically equate loneliness, nor does being in a relationship equate to happiness. A lot of people are lonely and in relationships, and we've both been at those stages, both lonely and single. And I did a self-reflection a few weeks ago in our exclusives page, and I mentioned an experience that helped me realize that I'm content being by myself. And I went through that stage where I'm like, well, she this way and she got a man, so I should have one. But it took me being by myself for God to get my attention. It took me being by myself to give him my total focus, to give him my worries, to give him my concerns, to talk to him every day, tell him what I was thinking. It took me being by myself to get into his word. It took me being by myself to hear from him and fall in love with him. It took being by myself to be with Jesus. And I know as women, a lot of times when we fall in love, we head over heels. Our friends can't tell us nothing. Our parents can't tell us nothing. We have hear from God. Well, I know it's right, but I know I'm wrong, but you know. And so I knew I didn't want to be that way. And I knew had I stayed that way, you know, back when I was in an unhealthy relationship, that I was going to end headed for destruction. So I'm thankful for that time alone. And now I'm at that place where I've transitioned from loneliness to, I realize that this is just my single season. I'm okay being by myself. I believe that God has somebody for me, and I'm ready for that. But until he comes, I'm going to stay with the Lord, and I'm going to stay content.
And then we go into the not so content stage of loneliness. And loneliness is real. You know, we've all been there where we feel like we need to have somebody, we need to confide in somebody, we need somebody to be there. Well, honestly, we just need Christ. For me, for being fairly out of a relationship, I was in that block of loneliness. You know, I needed to have him there. I needed him to be there, you know, when I'm crying or when I'm excited about something, when I get good news, when I get bad news. I felt like I needed him. But I started to see and understand why that really I just needed to confide in Christ this whole time. I needed to confide in him about, you know, those exciting moments. He likes to hear good news just as much as we come to him with bad news. When you're in your lonely stages, you learn that you become very complacent and settling. You settle for the guy who, you know, he knows Christ, but he doesn't really go to church. Or you settle for the guy who, you know, well, he doesn't believe, you know, that you should have to work all the time. Well, no, he just doesn't want a job. You settle for things like that. And it's dangerous when you become complacent and settling, because then you miss out on what God has for you, and you take in what's bad for you. So I'm at this stage in my life where, you know, now I'm learning to be content in being single, because I'm gonna be honest, it sucks sometimes. You know, it sucks when you know what it's like to be in a relationship and you feel like, well, what am I doing wrong? I'm living right. I'm seeking God. Like, who wouldn't want, you know, to be with somebody like me? But it's in those moments where we actually do go to Christ and we're like, you know, well, Christ, here I am. You know, this gives him time to develop you as a person. In this stage in my life, you know, where I'm single and I'm being content in it, I've learned that he has a lot of things to uproot from me that, you know, I may not want to bring into my next relationship. Because sometimes, ladies, let's be honest, it's not them. Sometimes it is us. And so we learn in being single to be happy, not only with being by ourselves, but we learn to be happy with being with Christ and learning more about ourselves.
We want to reiterate that we're human. We have those moments of loneliness or where we want companionship. And we're not saying that be happy just with Jesus, because we're realistic. But when you have those lonely moments, talk to your friends, talk to guys. Say, hey, I need some company. Come over, come chill with me. Your lady friends, because we don't want you to fall back into anything. But you know, be real with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself, because if you get into the place where you're not happy single and you're just waiting to pounce on somebody, no man wants a clingy woman. If they see that you're that desperate, they'll take advantage of you. So keep those things in mind. Until next time.
You can never fall too high, so fast, so far that you can't get back. When you're lost, where you are is never too late. So bad, so much that you can't change.